So how did DATX start?
Well, we actually is initiated by the Consumer Foundation in Singapore, and we developed the whole system. Yes, now we have this on screen. So, developed in collaboration with Avazu as a global leading programmatic advertising platform. On Avazu, we already have over 1,000 advertisers, over 3,000 high-quality media as publishers, and over 200 applications. So every day we have active users reaching 3 billion using the SDK, and we have 10 billion daily traffic.
Okay, hang on a second. What exactly is Avazu again?
So we take it as a programmatic advertising platform. So it's invisible here. It has collaborated with the Facebook, Google, even Amazon's AWS. So
okay, hang on a second. So Avazu collaborated with Amazon, Facebook, Google, but we don't know about it as regular people because that's not what we hear about, right?
It's the specialized services providing to all the platforms.
Okay.
So on visible part, you see you are using the apps from all these platforms, and this is a specialized service providing to those.
How actually advertisers can specifically benefit from DATX.
Let's switch on the slides, guys. Okay, so now I can explain. So for publishers, advertisers, users, there's different roles on the platform. And specifically for advertisers, with Avazu's DSP, demand side platform, Avazu's exchange platform, and it's a native ad platform for advertising. We have more comprehensive solutions with big data analysis and AI optimization algorithm. And finally, when you deliver advertisers, when you deliver your ads to your audiences, to the potential users, to your fans, you can see the consolidated reports and you have a better ROI. You know the pennies you spend on your ads, on the marketing budget is worthy. So that's our mission, and to build this protocol for the whole advertising ecosystem.
Let's move on to DATX's roadmap.
Yes. So let's switch on the last slide here. As we say, nice color. Okay. So actually, we're at early stage, known as stage 1. We are now about to integrate the ad platform and upgrade the ad content. At the moment, we are implementing incentive mechanism and set Avazu to accept DATX as a payment method. This is already realized. And we are about to establish in-feed native ads format. So let me explain a bit about native ads. As we said, it's the ad format that won't disrupt your experience on the app or a website. So it's inserted as a fluent way. And also we are customizing native ads and acquire active users. So this is stage 1, starting from now, actually a few months earlier, to the end of this year. And we will have stage 2. We will have power of identification, POI, behavioral data implementation, and we will also implement DATX chain, the public chain of DATX. We first establish user-oriented decentralized behavior database, and we improve the data foundation for ad ecosystem. And in the end, DATX chain launches as the pioneering blockchain for programmatic advertising. And this will be the next year's plan. And estimatedly, we will have DATX chain launch in mid of 2019. And after this, we will have the third stage, AI customized recommendation, and we help the ecosystem grow, and we enhance the value creation. So we've optimized the artificial intelligence-based personalized content recommendation system. Meanwhile, we developed the ecosystem anti-fragility mechanism. So anti-fraud, we don't want the bad players here ruin everyone's experience. And finally, we integrate the subsequent ad platforms, advertisers, and decentralized apps. And everything all together is a long-term plan lasting over 4 years.
Bitcoin opens up the imagination and possibilities of a global digital currency. The blockchain technology that comes with Bitcoin has put our society in an incredible time. Huobi is actively involved in this wave of rising digital assets in 2013, helping to enlighten Chinese people in digital currency investment. Huobi has made a brilliant achievement in taking the highest market share and received the highest trading volume in China. At present, Huobi Group is opening a global integrated digital asset transaction services with a strong focus on customer service. Huobi Group has set up operations and service centers in Singapore, Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, Beijing, and Shenzhen. With our new base in the beautiful Singapore, Huobi Group will bring quality educational and service experiences to millions of users of digital assets in 130 countries and regions.
Hi!
Hello.
Hi, welcome to this edition of Huobi Talk. We are at episode 32, broadcasting live from Singapore. So, Huobi Pro, this video is brought to you by Huobi Pro, the leading global digital assets exchange. And today we are going to be talking about
EOS.
EOS Mainnet Launch, right? But first up, you need to know who we are, right? So, a short introduction. I am Ronald from content team, Huobi Pro Singapore team. And this is?
I'm Koi from the IT team. And we're in very exciting times right now. And today we're going to talk about EOS, or is it EOS?
EOS. Well, yeah, we know it's supposed to be EOS, but I'm so used to saying EOS, so I'm just going to be saying EOS. So I'm sorry, EOS community out there, but yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So before we get started, I do know, I can see right now that everyone is commenting heavily. Please change the comments to deposit EOS, earn HT. May I repeat? It's deposit EOS, earn HT. Great. So change it all up a little bit. Make sure you're writing deposit EOS, earn HT, not Blockchain Festival Vietnam, not vote on headaches, you know. All right, and let's get started. So today we're going to talk about EOS Mainnet Launch, right? And before that, before we say anything about EOS, we want to make sure you know about our promotional activity. And then also we'll explain to you what is up with this promotional activity. Why are we doing this? Why is Huobi Pro doing this? All right, and if we can flash the banner for the viewers back home on the promotional activity, great. If you deposit EOS, right, you win 10,000 HT. This 10,000 HT will be split proportionally based on the net deposits on Huobi Pro. So it is kind of like stake, you know, staking. It depends on your stake. It is proportional. You don't get all 10,000 HT. You get a stake of it based on the amount of EOS you have deposited into your Huobi Pro account. All right, have I been clear?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. So there is a limit to this promotional activity. It ends at 6 p.m. today. All right. So if we can show them the suspension of withdrawals, the withdrawal for EOS has already happened this morning at 8 a.m. All right. So 4 hours ago, and the EOS suspension for deposits will be at 1800, 6 p.m. today, GMT+8. All right. So we've got, how many hours do we have left?
We've got about 6 hours.
6 hours. You've got 6 hours to take full advantage of this promotional activity. Great. So let's get started, right? Corey, can you tell the people back home what exactly is EOS?
EOS is a software that introduces a blockchain architecture that's designed to enable vertical and horizontal scaling of decentralized applications. This is achieved through an operating system-like construct upon which applications can be built upon. And the software provides accounts, authentication, databases, and asynchronous communication, and the sharing of applications across multiple CPU cores and clusters. The resulting technology is a blockchain architecture that has the potential to scale to millions of transactions per second, and eliminates user fees and allows for quick and easy deployment of decentralized applications.
Great. Great. So EOS, right? EOS is kind of like a competitor to Ethereum, right? So yeah,
right.
Ethereum is currently what, second in coin market cap with market value, and well, it's by Vitalik Buterin, and I think we've all seen the news lately about how Vitalik Buterin is talking about EOS, sometimes not in such good light. And EOS itself, they're gonna have a mainnet launch tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow on the 1st of June, about 23:59 or 23 o'clock, they will be having the mainnet launch. We don't really know how long it's gonna take, right? Yeah. We do know, however, that they intend to have the mainnet launch by June 2nd, right? So by June 2nd, that's in 2 days' time, right? Yeah. And well, nobody really knows how long it's gonna take. Nobody really knows whether it's going to be a smooth transition, but we do know that there is a lot of hype coming up for EOS Mainnet Launch, right? So before we get into how EOS is going to launch the mainnet, before we start talking about their consensus mechanism and why they're even launching the mainnet, we are going to remind the users back home that you have the chance to ask us questions. In fact, some of you have already asked us questions. Questions can be asked down below in the comment box, or if you have the live chat comment, it's on the right side, left side, yeah, one of those sides. So please, if you've got any questions, ask us. We will try to answer all the questions that you may have. And also, Corey, today we've got two guests, right? Two guests, so really two guests coming in. The first one is going to be Danny Wu from Huobi Mining Pool. And
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, Huobi Mining Pool. Huobi. And the second one is going to be Ross, co-founder of EOS Sphere. And I will explain to you later why we invited these two guests today. But first of all, let's get into EOS. Well, there's a fly going around and everyone's trying to catch the fly in the studio. All right, so great. What is EOS? We all now know what is EOS, and also we would like to talk a little bit about the consensus mechanism of EOS. EOS uses delegated proof of stake, right? So delegated proof of stake is a variant of proof of stake. What happens is that when you own EOS tokens, right, if you are an EOS token holder, you will be able to vote using the amount of stake of EOS tokens for a delegate. The delegates for EOS are called block producers, right? They're called block producers, right. Exactly. And eventually there will be 21 block producers, right? So eventually there will be 21 block producers that will have the owners, you know, the responsibility of producing blocks for this blockchain, right? And it's delegated proof of stake because first of all, you get to vote, and the voting is
continuous.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. The voting is continuous. So the voting keeps going on. You're not stuck with the same 21 block producers. You can vote for any of the candidates, and as far as I've heard, I think Corey checked the numbers. We've got more than
100 candidates running for the candidacy.
Over 100 candidates running for the block producing candidacy. So cool. I wish them all the best, you know, that they all managed to at least get the chance, you know, to be a block producer. And among all these block producers, we have two block producers which we have invited as guests today. Huobi Mining Pool has announced its candidacy earlier last month to great fanfare. Oh, this fly for you. So to great fanfare, so Huobi Mining Pool has announced its candidacy, and also EOS Sphere has announced its candidacy. And we have invited them to come in and explain a little bit more about EOS, a little bit more about the mainnet launch, and also what they think is going to happen during this transition phase, right? Well, before we start to interview them, I would like to look through the questions. If we've got some questions, let's see.
And remember to follow us on all social media outlets, YouTube, can join us Telegram, and even Twitter.
All right. So question from Hassainen. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Question from Hassainen. I want to ask about the deposit EOS. Is it just deposit, or even buying some EOS at Huobi Pro will be considered as well? Because I don't have EOS and am willing to buy. Well, I'm also willing to buy, but yeah. The short answer is that when you buy EOS on the Huobi Pro exchange, it doesn't count as a deposit. So it is only a net deposit. We'll be taking 2 screenshots. We'll be taking 2 freeze shots. One was taken already 12 p.m. yesterday when the promotion has started, and the second screenshot will be taken today at 6 p.m. when the promotion ends. So when you have an increase in EOS deposits, that is going to be used as calculation for your stake for this 10,000 HT. And to answer your second question, which is, can you buy some EOS? Well, you can actually buy some EOS tokens on another exchange and transfer them to Huobi Pro. So if you buy EOS tokens using Bitcoins, using the USDT, if you buy it on exchange ABC, for example, you can send them over and that would be considered as a deposit. All right, I hope I've been clear. Please keep the questions coming, guys. And since we're talking about the promotional activity, I'm going to explain to you why we are doing this. Why is Huobi Pro going through so much to create such a good opportunity, such a great airdrop for everyone else? Well, the key reason is, we've got 3 reasons why we're doing this. The first reason is that when you have the EOS ERC20 tokens, these tokens will not these tokens will not be registering themselves. You will have to register these tokens, right, with Block 1 Foundation.
Yeah, that sounds quite troublesome.
Yes, exactly. It's quite troublesome. So the first advantage is that if you deposit your EOS tokens to Huobi Pro, we will do it for you. We will register for you. We will keep up the ledger for you. We will account for you. We guarantee we'll get everything done for you. So it's fast free. Just transfer your EOS tokens into Huobi Pro and we will make sure that you get the new EOS native blockchain tokens, right? Yeah. So that's just reason number 1. Reason number 2, which I think is really important to traders and users back home, is that if you keep your EOS ERC20 tokens on a wallet, right? If you keep them on a wallet, there will be no trading opportunities. It's stuck in the wallet. When the tokens are stuck in the wallet, you will not be able to trade on good news or on bad news. You will just not be able to trade, right? And we don't really know how long this EOS mainnet transition is going to take. We don't really know how long mainnet is going to launch and how long these tokens are going to start to trade again. And so if you have the tokens on Huobi Pro trading account, if you have the tokens in Huobi Pro account, right, you will be able to trade with either good news or bad news. You can react to it. And that is a key reason to traders. We've heard your feedback. We know that you want to trade during this time. We know that you don't want to be stuck holding bags of EOS, right? So we have came up with this idea, right? And I hope that all of you start to move your EOS tokens into Huobi Pro. We are one of the few exchanges in the world, that has this capability, that is doing this for all our users. You know, it's a lot of trouble, but of course we are taking it on for all our Huobi Pro users.
Right, I think one more bonus point on depositing your EOS into Huobi Pro is that you will win a proportion of the 10,000 HT.
Exactly. So it's a proportion. I would like to talk about, yes. Well, I've seen a question from Tao. 1 EOS is 1 HT, correct? Well, I would like to use this opportunity to say that may or may not be true, but because it really depends on how many EOS has been deposited into the Huobi Pro account by all the other Huobi Pro users, all right? So, for example, if there are only 2 users on Huobi Pro, for example, if there's just me and Corey, all right? Ronald and Corey, and if Ronald deposits 90 EOS tokens on Huobi Pro, and Corey
deposit 10 EOS tokens,
and Corey deposits 10 EOS tokens, so it's 90%, 10%. So I'll get 9,000 HT, which is 90% of 10,000 HT, and he will get 1,000 HT. All right. So I hope I've been clear that it is the proportion, it is the stake of how much you have as compared to all the net deposits of the other Huobi Pro users that are participating in this promotion. The promotion lasts till 6 p.m. today. So I understand if you would like to just have a quick break right now from Huobi Talk, move all your tokens over from EOS, from all the other exchanges, move all your EOS tokens over to Huobi Pro. I completely understand. All right, great. So maybe we will answer one more question, all right, and then we will start to get our mining pool, Huobi mining pool guest on the line. One more question from the floor. Let's see. All right, question from BDS Ket Mai Nin. I'm sure I'm butchering your name. I'm so sorry about that. It looks like a Vietnamese name. I just came back from Vietnam, really beautiful country. So, may I deposit EOS from another exchange to Huobi Pro? Yes, of course you can do it. In fact, you can deposit anything you want, right? You can deposit EOS, you can deposit any tokens that we accept. Just deposit them. I mean, why not, right? Huobi Pro is really the best. Huobi, Huobi, Huobi. All right, so we are going to start to stream in our first guest. Our first guest is Danny Wu, calling in from Huobi Mining Pool. All right, can the team set this up, please? So, hi, can you hear me, Danny?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hi, Singapore. Let's join the Huobi.
Yes, Danny. So, great, Danny. Hey, you can hear me well. I can see you well.
Yeah,
everything seems good.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right, everything seems good. And right now, can you introduce yourself and introduce Huobi Mining Pool back to the viewers back home?
Okay, of course. My name is Danny. I'm the operation manager in Huobi Pro and responsible for the overseas business. As you can see, we have a lot of business units in the Huobi group, like the Huobi Pro and the Eco investments, and we are one of the most important business units in the Huobi group. Maybe you might not agree.
Come on! I think Huobi Pro is the biggest, right? We are Huobi Pro.
Okay, of course. It's okay.
We take this offline. They don't need to know about this.
So we announced the campaign for block producer in EOS Community last month, I guess. So a lot of friends has asked why we running for the candidates. I think it's the trust from our clients. As you can see, we have millions of clients deposits, hundreds of millions EOS token in your account actually. So I think you will find it's our responsibility actually. I will use a destiny to protect our tokens from the intruders and empower the whole EOS community and make EOS tokens stronger and stronger. The best way to approach this goal, I think, is to seriously participate in the ecosystem. We should become a block producers. So that's why we must become the block producers in this community. And a lot of people also ask another question: how can you make sure you are the best block producers in the EOS community? I think it's the support from the group. We can provide the best hardware to maintain and improve the stability and the efficiency of the mainnet. We have the special fund to just invest on the EOS system. We can help many DApp producers to make real active DApps in the future and make the EOS to be the real operational system. And finally, we can invite the most brilliant intelligence to join us with the best salary we can offer in the industry. Well, now we have
salary for us. Come on. Well, hey, Danny, you mentioned the fund. So we created a fund for EOS ecosystem. Or what is in this fund that you mentioned?
I think it's a special fund for EOS community, which lead by the ecosystem business unit in another department in this group.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Danny, and what do you think about the EOS Mainnet launch? Do you think it's going to go smoothly? What do you think? How long is it going to take? Blah, blah, blah. Because we were just talking about this, the time that it takes to transit, you know. So what do you think, Danny?
I think the transaction will be very smoothly because we have to define some, basic definition. First, the EOS we hold for now is ERC token based on the Ethernet. Then before, we have to translate the private key to the block 1 and then translate to the they call mainnet. It actually is the data. Every block producers can give a snapshot for the data and airdrop their tokens to the EOS, old EOS tokens account. So the mainnet will work. So it's hard to say who is mainnet for now. Let's say if we connect each other, we can call we are the mainnet. We can call the mainnet Huobi. Let's put maybe another 90 nodes join us. We can launch a new net. We can do the job thing. But if we drop maybe 1 billion token to the old holders, we must have at 15 token holders to vote for us.
Mm-hmm.
Until that, mainnet will be launched. So let's say
sorry. So can I check? So you were saying that we need 15% of the EOS token holders to accept the mainnet. Is it also accepting the constitution? Is this a separate thing, or is it the same thing with this 15%? What is this magical 15% number that we're talking about?
We have 1 billion EOS old token has applied to the market. We also accept, and at least more than 90% of this token already rejected to block 1.
Okay.
So the mainnet, everybody has launched a chain to the EOS system, and we will drop the new token to each account who holds the old EOS.
Okay.
So you need a new EOS token, and if you want tonight to work, you have to vote for us.
Mm-hmm.
Vote for the new net. So at least 50% of the new token holder to vote for the new net, the new net will be not worked. We must have at least 50%. It's about 100 tokens, the new tokens, to vote for the mainnet.
Mm-hmm. All right. So as far as I know, as far as I know, there are a couple of nets. There are a couple of chains that are going around right now, right? We have Jungle, and we have I think Canada, EOS Canada has another one, right? EOS Canada. So what do you think all these competing chains are going to do? Like, which one do you think is going to be the prevailing one?
Actually, we're not involved in any of this debate for who is the mainnet, who will win the mainnet. I can personally make a comment about this in the sense that. But we also heard a lot of rumors. Supporting one mainnet is kind of the one China policy. Everybody support it, but to support which mainnet is another problem. For now, we have the testnet led by the EOS Canada. We have a Jungle test. There's a lot anonymous test found in China and other places in the world. So in that case, we hold no position in this debate in that. We are welcomed. We will provide our technology support, our support for other in any aspect to testnet. We just want to wait to which test can get enough support. Everybody wants to support the mainnet. Everybody wants to join the mainnet. Join this mainnet. This mainnet. And provide the best service for clients. Okay.
All right. So do you think come June 2nd, right? Do you think that Huobi mining pool is going to be one of the 21 block producers?
We must be, actually. We will be.
We must be. Yes.
Sorry.
Well, I think we're one of the stronger candidates as compared to what we are offering to the EOS ecosystem as compared to the others. Well, I'm not playing favorites. I kind of am playing favorites. But I think that objectively speaking, that with the Huobi backing behind, that Huobi mining pool's candidacy for block producer is a pretty strong one. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm the best one. The number question is why we are the best one, because we have several unique advantages I have mentioned before, and other things. As we backed by the huge capital which is sponsored by the group, we are not pursuing the short-term interest like other maybe small, tiny block producer candidates who want to make quick money from EOS community without doing any last-year contribution to the EOS community. We are pursuing the best and the greater interest for the EOS community. So if we have great tokens, you really want integrity block producers, you want effective, protected block producers, you want producers can speak for me, fight for your interest. Just vote for us!
Yes, I understand. So Danny, you mentioned that some of the block producers may want to be doing this because of money, right? Can you tell me more about the income? Because I recall that EOS has inflation and also the block producers earn sizable income, right? How much is it roughly per year?
We'll give about 5% annually to reward the country EOS community. 1% will be rewarded to the block producers, and another 4% will be rewarded to the workup proposal, which we didn't know the details about it. It's like kind of the, if you make a proposal to the EOS system, everybody can vote for it. If your proposal approved, you will get a certain rewards, but everything is under discussion. Nobody can tell the real details about it.
Why can't anybody be able to forecast what is going to happen? Why is there so much uncertainty?
Because BM will release the final version, not final version, it's the official version of the EOS code 1.0 tomorrow. So we didn't know the details. We have to learn and understand it in next 3 days to keep in the same page.
Yes. So can you just tell me a little bit? In the past 3 days, as a block producer candidate and also one of the stronger ones, according to you, how crazy was the last 3 days?
You mean last 3 days or the next 3 days? Sorry.
Well, the last 3 days for you.
Last 3 days for me. We launched a website. As you can say, we are invited about more than 18 block producer candidates for over 20 countries to share their information, their ideas, and all their self-information to our clients and every EOS token holders. I'm pretty proud of it.
Okay, all right. So, do you have any final words that you want to tell the viewers back home at this Huobi Talk? Do you have any final words about EOS? About Huobi mining pool or about yourself? Now's the time.
Okay. For the token holders, that's vote for us. And for the
of course, vote for us. I vote for you. I have some EOS. I vote for you.
For the block producers who want to add themselves to the EOS and the app users who want to accept themselves, you can reach out us from many channels, from the Telegram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm all of us wrong. We work 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. So just feel free to contact us. And for the EOS community, just live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Wait. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. One last question from our community, because our community gets to ask questions, And right now I'm looking at the questions. There's one question for you. So, question from Amelia. Why is EOS moving to mainnet? I think this is a simple one. I hope you can answer it.
Pardon me, sorry.
Why is EOS moving to mainnet?
Why? Because the US for US we hold now is just a ERC token. It's just it's a cool. Yeah, you have to translate from the cool to the real money, to real tickets you get.
Yes. Oh well. One last question for me. All right, and then we really let you go because I know you're busy. One last question for me, which is, do you think, that the transition will be really messy?
Really smoothly or?
Really messy. Do you think the transition will be really messy?
Yeah, I think we will hear a lot of things the next few days. I think we have a lot of work to do, a lot of involved. So I think it's will be messy in the next few days.
Because even in the past few days, we were talking about how some bugs were found, and then Dan Larimer came up and said, "Hey, we're gonna give $10,000 or 10,000 something to all developers that managed to find code bugs." You know, so it's kind of like a scramble, and this is even right before the mainnet launch. And what do you think for developers and for the community they should be expecting in the next few days? You know, are we going to have a lot of sensational news again, or are we going to have a really peaceful transition? What do you think?
I think we will have a certain expectation, you know, a lot messy, but I believe our problem will be solved, and stronger, the price will be higher and higher, and you know, prepare for the best, you know, wish for the best, prepare for worse, and even the best is yet to come.
Even the best is yet to come. All right, thank you very much, Danny.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Being
Bye.
featured on our Huobi Talk. All right, and right now we are going to go back to answering some questions and also preparing to let you know more about this promotional activity that we have. All right, so can we have the promotional activity banner on? And today, airdrop is special, right? Special in the sense that you will have 10,000 HT that is shared between all EOS holders, right? EOS holders that deposit EOS into Huobi Pro. When you deposit your EOS from Huobi Pro, this is only for deposit, right? We have taken a shot, right? A screenshot at 12 p.m. yesterday, and we'll compare it to 6 p.m. today. And using this comparison, you know, with the net deposits, we'll find out how much HT of the 10,000 should be allocated to you. That is only the first reason why you should be depositing EOS tokens into Huobi Pro. The second reason is that you get to trade, right? You get to trade. I mean, it's so important to be able to trade EOS, especially now, right after we heard Danny. We heard Danny talk about the transition. Would it be a smooth transition? He doesn't really think so. He thinks there's going to be a lot of news, you know, good news and bad news all coming out at the same time, right? And it may be a sensational period for the next few days for EOS. And I think simply put, being able to trade will put you in a much better advantage for you and your portfolio if you can trade your EOS tokens. So if you want to do that, right, make sure you move your EOS tokens into Huobi Pro. I've got some questions, right, before that we've answered. Can you move them from other exchanges, from other wallets? Of course you can. All right, do it right now because it ends at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is when we suspend withdrawals. Right?
At 6 p.m. GMT+8.
Great.
And not to forget,
Yes.
when they deposit their EOS into Huobi Pro, they get HT.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
How much is it?
10,000 HT shared between everyone.
Proportionately.
Right? Proportionally. So kind of like staking, right? So back to it. Right now we have lined up Ross. We've got Ross from EOS Sphere, and Ross from EOS Sphere is on the line. Right? He's Skyping in straight from Australia. He's been waiting a little bit because we've been chatting, and he's been waiting a little bit. Let's get Ross on the line so that we can have a little chat. Hi.
Hi, Ross.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. Whoa, 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 whoa. So
before we get started, I got to apologize. We're in the middle of a thunderstorm here in Perth, Australia. So it can be a little bit crazy outside.
Yeah, well, it's all right. We can hear you fine, all right, and the feed
Excellent.
the feed also is perfect. So no problems on
Okay.
our side. So Ross, can you tell the viewers back home watching Huobi Talk today a little bit more about yourself and about EOS Sphere?
All right. Well, EOS Sphere are a EOS block producing candidate based here in Australia. We started off representing, you know, Australia as a community, but you know, our name EOS Sphere means inclusion. It means global. We aim to represent and serve the entire global EOS community. Mm-hmm. We are a team of 7 people at this point.
All right.
Most of us have experience in infrastructure and services management fields.
Okay.
You know, myself, I'm a networking and security specialist. My other co-founder, Ken Hall, he's a data center specialist and a developer.
Where are they today? Why did they all turn up for this interview?
everybody is busy dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Yeah, there must be a lot.
They're working hard.
Yeah, they're working really hard.
We want to be super prepared. You know, we've had a year to get everything ready, but the code's kind of changed, and the way that we're going to be launching has moved, you know, week by week. So I think this is the closest we've got to a final product, where we can finalize. Okay, these are the keys we're going to use. This is how we're going to do our security. Actually building it, right? So we're building it. And testing on Dawn 4.2 code at the moment.
All right. So what do you think, Ross? What do you think of the EOS transition? What do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be messy? Do you think it's going to be smooth? Like, what shall we expect?
I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I have faith in the community. Right. I've been involved with cryptocurrency and tokens. I've been involved with BitShares and Steemit. I've never ever seen such a huge community around the world rally together for launching a blockchain. Okay. Never ever seen it. And it's all about collaboration and having conversations and working through issues that everybody has. And I suppose that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole consensus mechanism.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's about the top 21 block producers agreeing on how they're gonna run the infrastructure and governance. And the reason why you become a block producer in the beginning is because the token holders see the value that you're bringing and vote you in.
Yeah.
So it's all about discussion and conversation and working together as a community in order to ultimately grow the EOS platform, grow the adoption. It's not like, oh, I'm mining some stuff and I'm trying to extract some value out of the network. Everybody's competing to try and add value to the network. It's awesome.
Yes, well,
I have faith. Your question, is it going to be messy? I think it's not necessarily easy, but I think I've got faith that we're all going to agree on a single mainnet that has a consensus agreed on snapshot of the EOS tokens, and we agree on the contracts that are going to be injected at Genesis.
Yeah, because consensus building is a pretty messy affair, right? Consensus building, there's always give and take. It's not so easy. We all don't just sit down and agree on something, right? There's always a little bit of difficulty trying to get on the same page, right? And also, you don't really know on the intent of the others, because you mentioned intent, right? You mentioned that, well, everyone in the community that you have collaborated with, they've all been, very collaborative, and everyone's cooperating, trying to build the community much stronger. But at the same time, do you expect or do you suspect that some of the block producer candidates, do you expect that some of them may have malicious intent or will develop some in the near future?
I think that we have to leave that up to the token holders to decide.
All right.
And that's why it's so important to vote, right? A lot of people would say, oh, it's just too much effort to vote. Let's be honest, there's going to be simple portals, simple web pages, and it's in your interest. Vote for the guys that are doing the right thing by the platform and the ecosystem as a whole.
Well, Ross, some countries, they get to vote, right? And it's once every 5 years, once every 6 years, and yet you have got really low participation rate in voting, right? I mean, this is known, yeah? You've got 40%, 30%, 50%, it's low. And for token holders, well, some of us token holders have many different tokens, right? And it's really hard to keep up with all this participation, all this community that has to be done, all this community decision making that has to be done. So how do you think that's gonna pan out? How do you think that's gonna play out? Because I think, from my point of view, a lot of token holders are just gonna buy the tokens and forget about them, and forget that they have to make decisions. They have to be voting in delegates, or in this case, block producers, right? And so then there's this integral part of decision making that's lost, which is the token holders. What do you think?
Well, I think it's up to us as block producer candidates and the active community to evangelize that everybody needs to vote. To be honest, third iteration of Graphene, you needed to vote for BitShares, you needed to vote for Steemit. A lot of people didn't even know that you needed to vote.
Exactly,
or they voted and just completely forgot about it. But come on, everybody is talking about voting on EOS. Everybody knows it. If anybody says they've never even heard that you need to vote for EOS, then they obviously don't ever use their computer, right? Everyone is talking about it. everyone is evangelizing what a block producer's function is. Everybody is understanding that we need people that are going to be healthy infrastructure and governance block producers. I think that if we can just keep the same kind of trajectory of education and bringing the community up to speed on why they need to vote and how they need to vote, I don't think we're going to have that problem. I think that the participation is going to be far higher.
All right. Ross, hold on. Ross, Huobi Talk is an interactive chat. It's us chatting with the viewers back home, and some of them have got some questions for you if you don't mind answering.
Yeah.
So so it's not just a dialogue, but it's a multi-log. So multi-log, I just came up with that word. So question from Jan Jensen. So, why announce a bounty for security flaws moments before mainnet launch? I repeat, question from Jan Jensen. Why announce a bounty for security flaws moments before mainnet launch? What do you think, Ross?
Well, look, I can't comment on Dan's motivations for asking people to try and find bugs in the last week. He obviously has a reason. Maybe there was something in particular he was expecting to be investigated. I'm not entirely sure. I can say this though: we've been running testnets for months and months and months, and a lot of bugs have been found and reported. I don't think there was no bug testing until like this last week, right? And I don't know why he decided only now to offer a bounty. I can't comment on that, to be honest.
So Ross, I think there's one question the community wants to know, and it's when you move into the mainnet, what's going to happen for the developers, the community? Like what's the outlook? What's the outlook? Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to know the technical aspect of moving onto mainnet, or are you talking about people developing dApps on other platforms?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
The second one.
The second.
Oh, about dApps. Oh, I don't know. I know here in Australia in particular, there's a very large Ethereum and Solidity development community. In my opinion, I'm very pro EOS. There's obviously always a place for Ethereum in the world, but EOS brings the performance, the governance, and the usability that may or may not have been lacking in Ethereum. See, I didn't take a side there, but I think that if you were building an application that needs some kind of governance layer, or you needed that raw performance aspect, or maybe even the transaction fees would have been an obstacle for you, I think that you would definitely consider launching your dApp on EOS, and you probably find that there will be a slow feed or maybe a stampede, but I think there will definitely be developers that will move over from other platforms to EOS.
All right. So let's keep the questions going because we've got a flood of them. All right. Question from Sam. Well, it's an easy one. What is the difference between EOS and Ethereum?
Well, the most fundamental difference probably is Ethereum is proof of work, and EOS is delegated proof of stake. I mean, one you mine with your hash power, and the other one you elect block producers to sign the transactions. That's probably the most fundamental difference, right?
And another question, I can't read his name because it's in Russian, which is question from, let me try, Stayod Paniash. Have you fixed the vulnerabilities of EOS? Well, nobody knows, right?
Have I personally fixed them? They're fixed.
They're fixed. Well, you heard it here first, right? They're fixed, all right? All the vulnerabilities, they're fixed. We actually don't really know until we find out. All right, cool. And last question. Let's make this the last question, all right? Question from EF. EOS is a direct competitor to Ethereum. So that's rhetorical, I guess. After what time do you intend for EOS use to be dominated by ICO? So let me phrase the question again. So EOS is a direct competitor to Ethereum. After what time can users expect that the main use of EOS is for ICO?
Yeah, well, I mean, how long is a piece of string? But presumably you would be able to develop a dApp that'll be able to run ICOs on EOS from the get-go. Maybe someone has already investigated building something of the same. Ethereum has been pretty good at running ICOs, except for maybe some of the performance backlog that they have. But yeah, I suppose it'll just be left to be seen. But yeah, EOS absolutely would be able to run a smart contract that you could build an ICO platform on.
Okay, yeah, true. Oh, these we're not going to be taking any more questions for Ross here by our users, but I do have one question for you, Ross, which is for EOS. We've got 21 block producers, am I right? And
21, yeah, top.
And
21
block producers. And how do we change the constitution of the EOS?
Yeah, so I think that I can't specifically comment how the constitution gets changed on a day-by-day basis, but presumably block producers will implement something in how they're running the node that has perhaps an update to the constitution, and you would require at least 2/3 consensus amongst the block producers running their nodes over a period of time in order for that constitution to be adopted. It's never like, okay, one day I'll wake up and decide to change something. If I change something, I'll need 14 other block producers to agree with me.
Well, if you wake up one day and you decide to just change everything, then there's no consensus, right? You're just dictatorship.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about delegated proof of stake, right? Is you need that 2/3 majority of the block producers to agree on which way the code or changes happen.
All right. So, Ross, do you have any other last words that you have to say to our viewers back home? We've got probably a few thousand viewers right now tuning in, and more so after the live stream. Do you have any message to tell them?
I would say this: make sure you register your tokens if you've got them in your private wallet. Also, make sure you use your right to vote. If you're a token holder, you have a right, and maybe you could even say an obligation to vote. There are going to be numerous voting portals put out. Us at EOSphere are building one called EOS Voter. Ours is going to be secure, but whichever portal you use, make sure that there's consensus in the community about which ones are good and bad actors, right? You obviously need to vote with your private key, so make sure you choose the right one. And I suggest getting some consensus about the top BPs that you know and what they suggest, because we'll certainly be suggesting which ones to use.
And Ross, where is the best place that everyone can go and find out more information of the EOS forums and stuff? Is it EOS Go, or where should they be going?
I would say that EOS Go is definitely the crystalline center of EOS communication to the communities. There's obviously 101 Telegram channels, or you can just follow us on Twitter. If you follow EOSphere_IO on Twitter, you'll get up-to-speed information on everything that we're doing and our participation in the mainnet.
All right, thank you very much, Ross. Well, stay on the line, but we're going to cut you out. Thank you very much, Ross. It's been a real pleasure. All right. So, we've just had a conversation with Ross. He's been calling. He called in from Australia, where really it's quite illuminating, right? He was talking about EOS, talking about his hopes and the chances of being block producer, and also if he doesn't get block producer, what he's going to do about it, really protecting the community. He has a lot of faith in this community, which is really nice to see in the EOS community. And also he was mentioning a little bit about collaboration, right? And we've also asked him some questions, EOS and Ethereum, which one you think is better, blah blah blah, and he never really gave a
straight answer.
Yeah, straight answer, right? It was really political answer, which is like, hey, the difference is, well, Ethereum is this, EOS is this, and then stops there. So I love that guy, he seem cool. So let's continue. If you have just tuned in today, right? If you've just tuned in today, if you've just tuned in right now, I would like you to know that you have to start moving your EOS tokens onto Huobi Pro. There are 3 reasons why. Let's show them the 3 advantages. There are 3 advantages why you should be moving your EOS tokens into Huobi Pro. Number 1, it's fast free. We've heard today a lot about EOS Mainnet Launch. We've heard a lot about how tokens will be distributed, so the old ERC20 EOS tokens that you're holding on right now, those guys will not be transferable in a matter of hours, right? They will not be transferable. You will have to move them to Huobi Pro, right? Huobi Pro will make sure that you you get the transition done. Huobi Pro will make sure the registration is done for you. It will be properly allocated to you. There will be no problem whatsoever if you move it to Huobi Pro.
All they need to do is just deposit, right?
Exactly, just deposit. Buying it doesn't really work, because you need to deposit it to win the promotional activity that we have. We've got a promotional activity. Let's show them the banner. This promotional activity is if you deposit EOS, right? Only if you deposit EOS, you get to win 10,000 HT shared among all the EOS depositors, right?
Yeah.
So the sharing method is by proportion. If you deposit more, you earn much more HT. If you deposit less, you earn not so much HT. All right, and this is up to 6 p.m. today. It's only up to 6 p.m. today. We have how long more do we have left for this promotional activity?
5 hours.
5 hours and 10 minutes. 5 hours, 10 minutes left for this activity. So make sure you do it.
6 p.m. GMT+8.
6 p.m. GMT+8. All right. So you can see here the deposit suspension on Huobi Pro. All right. Just to make sure that you saw it. 1800. So 6 p.m. May 31st. That's today. GMT+8. That is Singapore time zone. All right. And last but not least, the last reason why you should move your tokens onto Huobi Pro account is that you are able to continue trading. Right? If you can continue trading your account or your EOS tokens, this makes you less vulnerable to the entire EOS Mainnet launch, because we don't really know how long it's going to take. We don't even know whether it's going to launch actually, because Block 1 only produced the software, but they moved. They gave the software over to whoever is going to be the block producers, and we don't even know if that's going to happen or not. But at least you are able to trade, right? So being able to trade, the good news, the bad news, maybe, I don't know, maybe something happened, touch wood, but maybe something happened and you will be able to react to it. And that's why I think it's really important for traders, to move your Huobi, to move your EOS tokens onto Huobi Pro. Huobi Pro. I'm saying Huobi Pro so many times until, I'm just thinking and dreaming about Huobi. All right, so let's go to the questions. All right, we're going to go and let's search for some questions. Let's see. Question from Tay. How are you, Ronald and Corey? Great hosting. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. They wanted to get a lady, but geeks are better. And next, what do we have? Question from Edward Iglupus, right? Edward Iglupus. How much total capital for EOS to support the company? Well, this question is a little bit tough because I think he's asking how much capital has been raised by EOS, right?
Yeah.
So as far as I know, the EOS ICO has been really unique. There's so many things unique about this project, right? EOS ICO has been going on for a full year, right?
Yeah.
A full year, and we've been talking about it. Like, it goes on and on about it every day. I think they have an ICO and like a mini ICO, and then
Token distribution.
yeah, and then token distribution goes on every single day. How much money they raise, please go and check other sources, because I just can't take the number out of my head right now. Well, next question. Question from Aime. How is Huobi protecting user funds? How is Huobi protecting user funds? Well, Aime's short answer is that we came up with this promotional activity. All right, we make sure that all the Huobi, all the EOS tokens that are stuck on that are in Huobi Pro exchange, they will be registered automatically for the new tokens, right? The EOS native blockchain platform tokens, right? So that's one way that we're protecting that. And as far as I know, today also we announced Tron, right? That we are supporting Tron mainnet as well. And Corey, do you have anything to say about Tron mainnet?
I think it's all exciting for 2018, and
when is it?
When is it? It's the official mainnet. It's maybe 25th June.
25th June. This guy memorized everything. He's like he's a dictionary, an encyclopedia. So 25th June is the day that we have Tron mainnet as well. So Huobi Pro is also supporting that mainnet transition. One of the very, very few exchanges in the world to actually to support all these mainnet launches, because this is not just going to be only one of them, right? There are going to be many mainnet launches coming up. And if you forget about it, or you're on holiday, you're in the Bahamas, you're in the Balis, or somewhere, you completely forget about it, boom, your tokens are gone. Right? Yeah. So at least Huobi Pro is watching your back. And also, wait, hold on. Also, on how Huobi Pro is protecting user funds, we have two other funds, right? We have the Huobi Security Reserve Fund, which is 20,000 BTC, just locked up somewhere in an address that's open to all. Right? You can check it out on huobi.pro/reserve. notice. You can find it somewhere there. You will be able to find the public key address with the 20,000 BTC just chilling there. And the 20,000 BTC is meant to reimburse, any mistakes or any accident that is not user related, So if anything happens, touch wood, nothing has happened in 5 years, right?
And this is unique to Huobi Pro, right?
Exactly, this is unique to
no other
Huobi Pro.
exchange does that, right?
No other exchange does it, right? Like put the money in some way and say, hey, for sure, we guarantee we're gonna protect you. So that's just one of them. The other one is User Protection Fund, right? Huobi User Protection Fund. This one is really famous because recently they just did it, where Huobi will take 20% of all the HT, right? Where Huobi will take 20% of the revenue and then convert it into HT and then keep it, and then just to make sure that we have enough Huobi tokens to just for any buffer, for any accidents, for any security issues, there is a huge sum of money behind. The public key is also available on huobi.pro/notice. You can go and check it out over there. All right.
And when you deposit your EOS, you can trade it. So in a sense, you can protect your funds if there's any bad news. Touch wood, nothing happens. I think it's going to be good news or neutral news. So that's right, deposit EOS into Huobi Pro, hassle-free, you can trade, and you win HT tokens.
All right, great. So to all of you viewers back home that have been commenting, I really hope that you've commented the right thing. All right, comment deposit EOS earn HT. Right, deposit EOS earn HT. This edition of airdrop is special. It's not like the usual airdrop. This airdrop is based on the EOS tokens, right? So we've been talking about it at length. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. In fact, I'm going to sift through maybe one or two last questions and then we call it a day because we've got a corporate retreat to go to. So, let's see. Question from Jason Francisa. Many users have been asking if Huobi Pro users will get EOS Genesis block airdrops if they deposit the EOS tokens on Huobi. Any idea about this? Come on, Jason. We've said this a couple of times, Jason. So, Jason, look. When you deposit your Huobi, when you deposit your EOS tokens onto Huobi Pro, these tokens that you're depositing are ERC20 tokens. These tokens are based on the Ethereum network, right? They are based on Ethereum network, right? And these are not native EOS blockchain tokens. What is going to happen tomorrow is that they are going to switch to EOS blockchain tokens. Like, it's not going to be ERC20 tokens anymore. And as far as I know, the ERC20 tokens will not be able to be transferred either, right? It's been hard-coded. You will not be able to transfer them anymore. So it will be stuck wherever it is. What EOS, and what Block 1 has asked users to do is to get all these tokens registered, so the ERC20 EOS tokens registered on to Block 1. Right? So there is a way to register it. You can Google it. You can find out more. That's one way that they will know when to airdrop you the Genesis block token. That's one way. The second way is if you move all your EOS tokens onto Huobi Pro. All right. So we've said this a couple of times. I hope I answered your question, Jason, and please ask more questions in the future. Question from, let's make this the last question, no? All right. Let's see. Question.
And remember to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and join our Telegram.
All right. So to subscribe to us on YouTube, click the subscribe button down below, somewhere here. Yeah. Here, there, anywhere. And also, if you would like to follow us on Twitter, where we are always telling you our latest events, latest promotions, latest updates, notices, follow us on Twitter at Huobi_Pro. That is Huobi_Pro, HUOBI_PRO, right? HUOBI, spelling's right behind. Right. So, last question, Kiri Haku. Huobi, you are welcome. All right, thank you. You're welcome too. All right, that's not really a question. Let's get another one. Question from Punk. What is the future for EOS? Well, I think it's not really up to us to say. What is the future for EOS? We've heard a lot from today. We've heard from Ross, from EOS Sphere. We've also heard from Danny, which is from Huobi Mining Pool, and both of them are block producer candidates, and they've They've got really much more experience when it comes to EOS, right?
But it's all about the community, and they have to vote. So
Exactly.
vote on the EOS platform.
Exactly. So this question is a little bit tough for us to answer because I don't know, because when I give you my ideas of what the future of EOS is going to be, that is my personal idea, and I don't think it represents Huobi Pro. But for them, you know, it represents the community that they are backing, the community that they are part of. So I think it's much better if you just scroll back a little bit, you know, 10-20 minutes, and listen to what they have to think about EOS, right? All right. Another question. Wow, we've got so many questions. Let's not end this. You know, I'm loving the questions. Finally, we have so many questions. We have one from Rome. How do I read this?
Terume.
Rome Terume. I wonder where this person is from. Rome Terume. That's a really nice name. Yeah. So Rome Terume. I can't get anything every time after Huobi broadcast. Why? After Huobi.
You gotta
I think you're talking about the
during.
airdrop. Exactly. So
You gotta comment doing that.
there are a couple of mistakes that are being done in the Huobi Talk airdrop. You know, sometimes people are commenting the UIDs wrong. You know, make sure your UID is correct, right? Sometimes we see UIDs with letters in it. That never really happens. It's only numbers, right? You must make sure the UIDs are correct, and also you have to make sure that you are commenting during the time that we say is the time for airdrop. You know, so it's not you come in and then you comment and then you leave. You know, that's another reason why. Maybe you're commenting at the wrong time. The third reason is that if sometimes we don't hit the tiers, right? So when you don't hit the tiers, everybody doesn't get the airdrop, not just you. Also, why else wouldn't you get, if you have been spamming, if you've been spamming the comment box, you know, you're just writing your UID maybe 7-10 times, you know, you get disqualified because the previous hosts have all mentioned that you only need to do it once, not so many times. So I guess maybe that's why you have a problem with the Huobi broadcast. Maybe Corey should go get some water, you know, because Corey's coughing.
Okay.
All right, next question from Why?
Why?
Is that why? Can you share a bit about Huobi 10? Ah, okay, Huobi 10. Wow, this is really out of my league, you know, out of my domain, but I will just try my best to share about Huobi 10. Huobi 10 is an index, all right? The Huobi 10 is an index that is that has 10 components. 10 components.
10 coins?
Yeah, 10 coins, right? 10 component coins. Huobi 10 brings together the 10 coins that have the highest trading volume of the last quarter, right? So highest trading volume of the last quarter, they get picked. Highest trading volume of the last quarter based on USDT for Huobi Pro. All right, so they will look through the coins that have been traded for the last quarter, and if it is against USDT, one of the highest trading volume, the top 10, they will get accepted. There is a mechanism behind it, right? There's a methodology behind it. I think it's called the PASCHE methodology, which I'm not very clear with. PASCHE, right? There's a PASCHE methodology. You can read more of about this if you just Google Huobi Pro index or Huobi 10 index, right? There is a page on it, Huobi.pro. There's a page. So you can easily go in there and find out more about the index. There are also the scoring of the index, the components of the index, the percentages of the index, you know, or percentages of the components. They're all in there. And why did the Huobi Pro come up with an index, though? Why did they come up with an index?
I think it's more stable.
Yeah, for sure. I think number one, for investors, it's really much more useful because there is a form of benchmark, right? So you can, just looking at one number, you know how the overall market is going, right? So it's a steady form of benchmark. That's number one. Number two is also about risk and volatility because when I think the numbers for HB10 or Huobi 10, sorry, the numbers for Huobi 10 are out. The alpha is more or less, well, the alpha is small, right? But the beta is much lower as compared to Bitcoin. So when you do it like this, you know, when you calculate it like this, it really helps to diversify the holdings, you know, lower the beta, lower the volatility, and also that doesn't really affect the alpha that much. So all in all, I think it's a useful index, and as far as I know, there may be some financial products that will be coming out based on Huobi 10 index, which may be coming out soon. More details can be found in huobi.pro/notice. I repeat, huobi.pro/notice. All right.
And
Let's
one
see.
last
One last question.
last
All right,
question.
so many last questions because we've got so many questions. Let's see. Question from Jin.
Gin.
Yeah, question from Gin. Is Huobi hiring? Of course. Of course, yeah, of course. Well, today I just hired a new guy, so yeah, Huobi is definitely hiring. Right, we've got a new guy. Shout out to Simeon. Hey. So, so yeah, we've got new people coming in. Huobi is growing really fast. Rapidly. When I first joined, we had like what, 500 people in Huobi, and now we are 800 people. You know, it's growing so fast. We're looking for new talent all around the world. Everyone is everyone can join, right? And as long as you have interest in cryptocurrency, as long as you have passion in this industry, you know, and you know what you're doing, you're a hardworking person, of course we would like you to join. You know, Huobi Pro always needs talent, right? I mean, look at us.
And we have a new office coming up, so you get to see it if you join us.
Exactly, right? New office in Singapore, and we've got multiple offices everywhere else. We've got offices in Singapore, Tokyo, Seoul, Hong Kong, San Francisco.
Japan.
Yeah, that's Tokyo, right?
That's right.
All right, so with that, I'm not going to be taking any more questions. I really hope that all of you today managed to get the key takeaways. Also, you didn't miss our conversation with Danny from Huobi Mining Pool and our conversation with Ross from EOS Sphere. I'm just going to give one last shout out to the promotional activity that we have. Banner, please. One last shout out. Make sure you deposit your EOS, you know, win 10,000 HT. This event ends by 6 p.m. today. All right, this is for the guys that just joined us. And really quick, 3 reasons why you join us, why you're gonna put EOS tokens onto our Huobi Pro account. Number 1, it is fast free. We do the registration for you. Number 2, it is tradable. You can still continue trading. You know, it's perfect for traders, you know, to react to news and stuff. And number 3, you get the 10,000 HT prize pool shared between the stakes of the new deposit, the net deposits for EOS tokens up to 6 p.m. today, GMT+8. All right, so I guess we have come to the end of episode 32. It's a pretty okay one, right? Pretty interesting one. So my name is Ronald from content team from Huobi Pro Singapore. If you would like to visit us, just come down, you know, say hi to me, and shout out to Global Writers as well. And this is...
And it's Corey from the IT team, and I'd like to wish you a good 2018.
Yeah, all right, so thank you, and see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye.